From the studios of Farm Journal Broadcast, this is AgDay.
It's a 2018 Farm Bill running out of time as conferees take the next step, with the key word being compromise. It's a labor shortage for more than seasonal labor, crippling rural America.
It's a challenge and has been for some time.
And it's catching the attention of the White House. Plus, if you think it's too early to start thinking about 2019, think again.
So I'm right now setting up market plans for next year.
And no driver necessary with this service.
AgDay, brought to you by the Chevy Silverado, the most dependable, longest-lasting full-size pickups on the road.
Getting a farm bill done is paramount to any other issue and concern.
Good morning, I'm Tyne Morgan. Clinton Griffiths is on assignment. The 2014 Farm Bill is less than 25 calendar days away from expiration and only 9 congressional days until the current law lapses. And the 56 Farm Bill conferees meeting for the first time Wednesday, with the key theme being compromise.
We're very close to the finish line, but we still have a lot of work to do. Quite frankly, a lot of compromise that remains to be done.
It's compromise that House Ag Committee Chairman Mike Conaway offered up last week. While no details were made available, he called it significant compromises to the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, which has been a major sticking point when it comes to the House version of the bill this year.
But more than any one issue, I want a farm bill. And I'm here to work to get a conference report that we can all sign, pass through our respective chambers, and send to the President to be signed into law. I'll remind our conferees that and that should be our goal, and their goal as well, and that nobody in this room is going to get everything that they want, and that this process is about compromise.
If we are serious about providing the certainty our farmers and families deserve, and I believe that we are, and getting the Farm Bill done, it's important that we do what the chairman said, do what needs to be done, as Chairman Roberts said, for our farmers and ranchers, and avoid poison pill riders that will stop us from achieving our most important goal of providing certainty. We know there are important differences between our two bills. We also know that we can come together and find common ground and get this done. One thing we all agree on is the urgent need to pass a 5-year farm bill. I believe if we work together, our conference committee can carry on the tradition of passing a bipartisan farm bill.
President Trump weighing in on the Farm Bill this week on Twitter, saying Congress should send him a final bill that includes work requirements for SNAP. Well, it's been a week since the U.S. put together a framework for a bilateral deal with Mexico. That deal puts an emphasis on manufacturing, potentially moving more jobs back to the U.S. Labor Secretary Acosta taking to Twitter on Wednesday to tout the strong growth in manufacturing. He says the manufacturing index is now at levels not seen in more than 14 years. The ISM Manufacturing Index is a gauge of manufacturing in the U.S. That index in August hitting the highest level since May of 2004. It increased 3.2% in a month, now at 61.3%. But now it's a question of if trade tensions with prime trading partners will impede further gains. Well, as manufacturing grows, more employees are on the hunt to find enough employees to fill those jobs. And it's a labor shortage hitting more than just seasonal labor. It's labor, and often the skilled labor field, that's losing luster as more high school graduates yearn for a 4-year college degree. There's a labor shortage plaguing rural America, and it's impacting businesses that are a mainstay in rural areas.
It's a challenge and has been for some time. I think the challenge is that the labor pool gets shallower and shallower. We've seen it for a while, but I think it's definitely getting worse. It's getting more difficult.
Searching beyond the traditional labor pool is now reaching a critical point. Just this summer, the Labor Department revealing new numbers that show for the first time in history, there are more job openings than there are eligible workers to fill them.
There are more jobs available than people that are looking for jobs, and that's never happened before.
A statistic Labor Secretary Acosta credits to the roaring economy.
Our economy is incredibly strong. We haven't seen unemployment rates this low in decades.
But as the economy gains steam, it's creating a grim reality for employers who just can't find enough workers to fill the jobs they need.
The biggest obstacle we have right now is around skills education. Our educational institutions need to focus on demand-driven education. education that answers the demands of the workplace. So we want lifelong learners.
It's high-paying trade jobs that set vacant. That's as more high school graduates are choosing the college route versus opting for the skilled trade fields.
What's so important are skills and education. So we have 6.7 million open jobs.
Jobs that boast high wages, with some only requiring a 2-year degree.
A 2-year tech degree gives a lot of our employees a fantastic opportunity to make a good living with us. We have a lot of jobs that don't require a 4-year degree. And quite frankly, that's how we can recruit some people in.
Some individuals may want to go to college and they might want to become a physician. Others may want to say, I want to be a medical assistant. And others may want to say, I want to be a carpenter or a welder. And our schools need to focus on everyone and provide opportunity to everyone.
The Trump administration signed an apprenticeship executive order in June. It doubles the amount the government spends on apprenticeship programs and boosts the 500,000 apprenticeships currently available today.
If you look at the data, apprentices actually make more money in crafts than college graduates do. And a lot of folks don't hear that data. But, that's what the data shows. We need to empower young Americans with this information so they can choose what they want to do.
The administration isn't just pushing for more apprenticeships, but also working to make more funding available for those who decide to go the skilled labor route.
This administration, President Trump, has made a very important proposal. He has proposed extending Pell Grants from degree programs to certificate programs. And so if you want to get a coding certificate, if you want to learn to be a welder, why should you not have federal financial aid available to you as well?
For employers on the hunt to find enough employees, it's becoming a full-time job to find the labor they need. Christensen says he was forced to start the recruitment process earlier. He says even with his company, the labor shortage is having an impact on his shop and bottom line.
We're constantly recruiting technicians, and we believe there's growth opportunity for our service departments. We know there is. And what holds us back is making sure we have enough qualified technicians. We have right around 55 technicians company-wide, and we really believe today we could hire 10 more.
A shortage of labor crippling businesses across the country that are hungry to find enough workers to get the job done. The latest jobs report from the Labor Department showed unemployment rate faded 3.9%, and employment increased in everything from professional and business services to manufacturing. Well, combines are really starting to roll in the Midwest. USDA not updating corn harvest progress just yet, but the latest crop progress report was delayed a day due to the Labor Day holiday. USDA showed that 75% of the nation's corn crop is dented. That's 15 points ahead of average. Corn condition ratings did drop 1 point to 67% good to excellent. And 16% of the nation's soybean crop is dropping leaves, 7 points ahead of the average pace. Well, commodity brokerage firm Allendale Incorporated releasing the results of its producer survey. It's forecasting a corn crop of 14.5 billion bushels with a national average yield of 177.6 bushels to the acre. That's lower than USDA's August forecast. And for soybeans, Allendale suggests a crop size of 4.6 billion bushels with an average yield of 52.1 bushels to the acre. Both of those numbers are higher than USDA's forecast, which called for a record bean crop.
Certainly, we did have some problems in the Western Corn Belt with yield numbers for soybeans, but the bottom line was the very aggressive and strong pace for the Eastern Corn Belt yield situation on soybeans more than offset any concerns we had on that side.
Allendale had responses from 34 states, but a majority were in the top 12 corn and soybean growing states. With Tropical Storm Gordon targeting Arkansas with heavy rain, farmers and crop researchers alike were working long hours to bring in their crops. At the University of Arkansas Rice Research Center in Stuttgart, staff members were cutting and bagging rice from individual plots. And it was all hands and machinery to get those rice fields cut. The crew even pulled out this aging international harvester to cut a sushi rice variety that they've been testing. The National Weather Service was forecasting 3 to 6 inches of rain in that area. According to the University of Arkansas Extension, some farmers were bringing in corn sooner than planned with higher moisture. But better to pay drying costs than losing the crop entirely, they said. Well, Cindy Clausen has more harvest progress to report in this morning's crop comments. Good morning, Cindy.
Thanks, Tyne. AgDay's Betsy Gibbon already starting her harvest travels. This week, she's in North Carolina. She tells us corn harvest is underway with farmers in a mad dash to try to finish up before later next week. That's when a tropical storm could possibly be blowing in. North Carolina's NASS office says 27% of the corn crop for grain is already in the bin. That's 6 points behind average. And Sean Tyson says that harvest is kicking up in west central Illinois. Some of the crop has moisture running below 20, and early yield reports show that yields are running about average. Let's take a look at that wind speed forecast, and you can see it really isn't too bad in most areas across the country as we head through the day today. A couple of spots in the plains and along that front that's going to be draped across parts of the Corn Belt, but over towards western Texas, Four Corners region, that's where we see the strongest winds in the next 24 to 36 hours. And as we head through the day on Friday, kind of similar, we'll start to see those winds picking up in the northern plains and again along that front in the central part of the country. I'll have your national forecast coming up in just a few minutes, but for now, here are some hometown temps.
Plan for the unexpected with weather forecast updates. Local forecasts are delivered right to your cell phone each morning, making planning a little bit easier. Just text Weather6 to 31313 to get started.
Up next, if you're too concerned about the challenges of 2018 to even start thinking about marketing in the 2019 year, you may want to think again. As African swine fever spreads, it could impact pork exports. And if you prefer delivery services, what about when there's no driver needed?
Advice, information, ideas, and more. If it's ag tech, it's in the Tech Tool Shed, your unbiased one-stop source for everything ag tech.
Here now with Bob Utterback of Utterback Marketing. Bob, I don't want to already start talking about 2019, but we need to. We sat here today, you look at prices, heard from a lot of growers, a lot of analysts who expect that the market today is buying corn acres. Do you think that's the case? And if so, how much, Bob?
When I work with my clients, I'm right now setting up market plans for next year. And based on farmers' cost production that they're giving me, their estimated yield and their basis, when you go through the numbers, corn is clearly within a reachable decent profit of 5 to 10%. 405 to 415 for a lot of my producers from Tennessee to Minnesota, from Ohio to Nebraska, basically makes a fair return on investment. Whereas beans is $1.25 to $1.50 underwater. So the economist in me says, go fence row to fence row corn and buy a bean call for a weather scare play.
So what, though, can you be doing right now for corn? If we do see that added corn acres, I mean, yeah, that's what the market's telling us now, but can the price handle that many corn acres added to the market?
Answer is no, it cannot. And this is the real crisis I see developing. Old crop corn is in the bin. Bin doors are locked. Right. We have the Dece, Jan, Feb, March bounce on South American weather scare. It's still early, and when the high comes in Dece 19 corn between now and February, when guys have they're all focused on old crop corn. So the only way I think you can effectively sell the corn market is this fall. Either you buy a call in Dece 19 corn so you can sell cash when you get your target price of 405 to 420, or you wait till next spring and you guarantee yourself you're going to buy a put. But you got to have a plan.
All right, Bob Utterback, Utterback Marketing. We need to take a quick break, and then we'll have more right here on Ag Day.
To talk with Bob one-on-one, call Utterback Marketing Services, toll free at 800-832-1488. Join Andrew McRae for Farming the Countryside, a farmer-focused podcast that is all about production agriculture. Farming the Countryside is available wherever you listen to your favorite podcast and is brought to you by Nutrien Ag Solutions, the world's largest provider of crop inputs and services.
Welcome back to Ag Day. There's going to be two main players in our forecast as we head through the next 24 to 36 hours. One is the front that is from all the way in the northeast back through the plain states, and of course the remnants of Gordon. Both have a lot of moisture associated with them. Let's put this into motion. You can see Gordon continuing to pull very, very slowly up to the northwest. That's going to mean prolonged rainfall for a lot of the Gulf Coast states. We'll see rain all along our cold front, the stationary front doing what it's supposed to do, not making a whole lot of movement. And that means continued rain for parts of Missouri, southern Illinois, southern Indiana. You see it doesn't make a lot of movement there. But on the backside of that front, it's much more cooler, much more refreshing as drier air works in. Heading through the overnight hours into Friday. Again, not a lot of movement here. That's where you're going to see the chances for showers and even some rumbles of thunder as you get into right smack dab in the middle of the country, while that cooler, drier air works further into the northeast. And then through the day on Friday, we'll see some more showers and thunderstorms blossoming, especially along the southern parts of the United States. Now, over the past 24 hours, it's really been those two main weather makers that have been bringing us some pretty heavy amounts of rain in spots. Obviously, Gordon has been really dumping the rain parts of Alabama, Mississippi, and obviously continuing into Arkansas as well as we head through the day today. And even along that front, we're going to be seeing many areas that could be seeing an additional couple of inches of rain along the front, but I would expect a little bit more as you get down, especially into Arkansas. Temperature-wise, still very warm, very muggy across the southeastern United States. Cooler, more refreshing with 60s and 70s for highs across the northern tier of states. Into the overnight hours we go, 50s and 60s, even some upper 40s in the upper Great Lakes, but boy, still warm though with lows in the 70s in the southeastern United States. That cooler, drier air continues to work a little further south as we head into tomorrow. Looking a little further into the future though, overall we're going to see warmer temperatures continue as we have that jet stream mainly off to the north of us. But watch what happens as we get late into the weekend and early next week. We'll start to see a trough coming into the western United States. That'll bring some cooler and more stormy weather as we head into next week. That's a look at your national forecast. Now let's check out the cities where you live. Corcoran, California, sunny and hot for you today with a high of 99 degrees. Gordon, Arkansas, Gordon will be bringing you some showers, maybe a couple of thunderstorms with a high of 84. And Cambridge, New York, a chance for showers and thunderstorms.
Still to come, the EU may be on the verge of buying more U.S. beef, but some things still need to be worked out. Our partners at Drovers have the details. Plus, your weekly trip to the supermarket may come to an end someday. We'll show you where that service is already in the works. In our Drovers report, the European Commission is proposing opening up formal talks. Those talks could lead to more U.S. beef exports. The European Union saying earlier this week it will start talks with Washington over the use of growth-promoting hormones and a truce in place since 2009.
The compromise was intended to uphold a European ban on growth-promoting hormones, giving American ranchers greater access to European markets. New discussions would build on a commitment made by the European Commission to President Trump in July to attempt to improve the transatlantic trading agreement.
Henderson says the EU and U.S. have clashed since the 1990s over Europe's ban on hormones that are widely used by U.S. beef producers. Washington successfully challenged the restrictions at the WTO, arguing that they represented an unfair barrier to trade. Well, African swine fever is spreading, now hitting China's second largest city. Now, China's agriculture ministry says it will shut live hog markets in affected provinces. Reuters reporting the new outbreak is the 7th in China since early August. This time it hit a smaller farm of 308 pigs. The nation's ag ministry says it killed 83 of them, but it's also a disease that's infecting Romania. That country confirmed the deadly virus, previously reporting it hit the country's largest pig breeding farm, and in turn, 140,000 animals there were forced to be culled. Up next, from supermarket to your home without a driver. Groceries on the go, next on AgDay.
In the Country, brought to you by Kubota's M7060, built to get the job done. See KubotaUSA.com or your local Kubota dealer for more information.
Well, agriculture is no stranger to autonomous technology. Driverless tractors and combines have been undergoing actual field tests with much success. On the other end of the food chain, grocery stores are also putting the technology to the test. Pilot programs are in place in cities like Scottsdale, Arizona, and San Jose, California. Now, in some cases, scientists are using sensors and lasers to operate cars around and in traffic. Other companies are using cameras and 3D maps. At this point, most companies still have a human in the car to take over if the robot gets confused. San Jose-based AutoX offers a couple of options to get your grub.
We're offering two kinds of shopping experience. Either you shop online and have it delivered autonomously, which means lower cost for you. Or when the car pulls over, you can select and shop from the mobile store. in the backseat window.
Kind of like the old days when you'd get the milkman and the bread man come by the house. You had a little mini grocery store come by and you could get items that you need without having to go to the store.
In Scottsdale, Arizona, a company called Neuro is working with grocery giant Kroger. Their special purpose vehicle is about half the width of a sedan and does not have room for people. Top speed of 25 miles per hour. It can haul about 12 shopping bags. Call me anti-technology. I just don't know if I'm ready for the switch. Well, that's all the time we have this morning. We're glad you tuned in. For all of us at AgDay, I'm Tyne Morgan. Have a great day in Farm Country.